distinguishing characteristic of Ed Romanoff is that he's had more jobs than anyone he's ever met, from jackhammer operator to toilet bowl salesman to baking Teflon onto pots. When someone invariably challenges him to a job off, they usually give up around 35 or 40. You're welcome to try. Tonight he tells a story of losing jobs, a girlfriend, and Easter. Ed Romanoff.
I once got fired from the same job 3 times. And I got canned from a toilet bowl sales job because I drove a forklift into a tower of toilet bowls powder. I also ruined a brand new Mercedes delivery truck when it caught fire on the interstate because I'd put unleaded gas into a diesel engine. So I moved to Wyoming, and that's where I met my friend Buford. Now, the best thing about Buford, who's a cross between Bill Murray and Jack Nicholson, is that he loves to shock people. So you have to be careful who you let him be around. He once strolled into my new office at a newspaper job in flip-flops and a Hawaiian shirt and said to the editor, "You must be really proud of all this. I don't mean to brag or anything, but I was president of my 9th grade class 4 years in a row." So eventually I moved back east, and at 27, I had a girlfriend, I had an ad sales job, so I invited Buford to come visit so he could see that I turned out all right. We'd been invited to Easter dinner at my girlfriend's parents' house, where I hoped to make a good impression and maybe even meet some new clients. Afterwards, me and Buford were going to see the Grateful Dead. So on the way, when I told him, "Just be yourself," that's not what I meant, really. And I thought, well, how bad could it get? I also thought 1 to 3 meant show up sometime between 1 and 3. So when we arrived at 2:45 in our jeans and Grateful Dead t-shirts, they'd already been waiting for us for 2 hours. 25 people in formal attire, and they were pissed. We filled the last 2 seats. The room was dead silent, except for the sound of cutlery on china. As folks ate quietly, Buford lifted his fork above his head. He let it go, dropped on his plate with a huge bang. All eyes were suddenly on Buford. A chunk of mint jelly flew across the table, casually settling against the salt shaker to see what was going to happen. But before anyone could speak, Buford said, "This shit's cold." Now, the only thing worse than saying that would be to think it was funny, so I tried not to laugh, which sent a mouthful of land up and into my nose. A woman with large white judgmental pearls said, "Excuse me, young man, do you know the spirit and meaning of Easter?" Ooh. Her eyes demanded an answer, and someone else offered a pretty game explanation of Jesus dying for our sins, etc., etc. And the temperature in the room came down ever so slightly, but no, Buford said, waving them off. "I know the meaning of Easter. That's when Jesus rose from the dead, saw his own shadow, and we had 6 more weeks of winter." Buford's groundhog Jesus comment sparked an inquisition. "Where are you from?" "Wyoming." "What do you do?" "School psychologist." "Favorite pastime?" "Wildlife photographer." Arms unfolded. People were leaning in. That bastard was winning them over. "A bear chased you, you say?" He raised his hand again. "I'm done talking. Pepper Ed for a while." Now, in my memory, he played the piano when everyone sang show tunes. But I know he doesn't play the piano. But what really stung wasn't just getting fired by my girlfriend for bringing Buford. It was when I overheard her mom say, "Why don't you go out with a guy a little more like him?"